Well, today marks the deadline for Harvard to submit documents on how that campus is handling incidents of anti-Semitism to Congress. It is all part of an unprecedented investigation by the House Education Committee. It also comes on the heels of the co-chair of the Harvard Anti-Semitism Task Force resigning. There's some speculation that she may have been frustrated about how long the process was taking to address this ongoing issue on campus since the attack by Hamas on Israel on October the 7th. Joining us now is a freshman at Harvard University, Charlie Covit. Charlie has been with us before. Thank you once again, Charlie. Welcome back. It's nice to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you, too.
All right. So the deadline is today. I'm curious, it's been a little while since you and I last spoke. What's the feeling like on campus right now around the conversation of anti-Semitism? Where have things gone around that discussion?
You know, it's a conversation that sort of ebbs and flows depending on what the environment is on campus at any given moment, as well as what's happening in the region. But unfortunately, you know, things have really not let up in spite of all the attention that Harvard has received. I mean, it was just a couple weeks ago that a faculty organization called Students and Faculty for Justice in Palestine, which has 110 members, shared a cartoon that had essentially a dollar sign and a Star of David on it, holding a noose around the necks of an Arab man and a black man. And, you know, it's pretty amazing that these are not actually students, but, you know, Harvard professors who are sharing, you know, that kind of anti-Semitic content. And, you know, while they did apologize after, I think that it is pretty alarming that, you know, even the people who are supposed to actually be, you know, educating, right? I mean, this country's future leaders would be able to buy in or even think that it's appropriate to share that kind of content.
Yeah, troubling. What has been the university's response to that most recent incident?
I mean, you know, the university often says that it's conducting investigations and that, you know, it is open to the possibility of discipline. But I think that what's alarming is that, you know, often students will reach out to the university and send emails about different incidents that have happened. You know, for example, a big rally that happened the other week where students were chanting that Palestine should be Arab. From the water to the water. And, you know, this will be reported to the university, and often we won't even receive so much as a response from them. So I think that's what's frustrating is that there's sort of incident after incident. I mean, there was a threatening, violent Valentine's Day letter addressed to, quote unquote, Zionists on Harvard's campus, sort of mocking us for having a political position that isn't popular. And, you know, again, we'll kind of report these things to Harvard and not even hear anything back.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of disappointment and frustration in your voice as a Jewish student. Not proud of your university so far and how they've tackled this.
Yeah, I think it is frustrating. And, you know, again, I mean, I think that what we always say is that, you know, if this were to be any other group, I think I would hope and imagine that the university would react more strongly. I mean, you know, just today I received an email from a Harvard, one of the Harvard sort of departments about upcoming events, and almost every single event was basically about, and one of them was called the colonization of Palestine and the Nakba. The other was about the genocide, the quote unquote genocide in Palestine. You know, there's really not even an effort in the discourse around the conflict to have, you know, any semblance of nuance or to present, you know, both sides of the story. And I think that's also where part of the problem starts, is that, you know, we're actually talking about the conflict and talking about these issues. You know, we have faculty that are sharing anti-Semitic cartoons. We have, you know, Harvard schools that are organizing programs that really make no effort to show both sides of the issue. So, you know, it's kind of unsurprising issue, just going to kind of continue to fester.
Yeah. Are you optimistic and should these professors be fired?
I mean, I think that, you know, I think that probably firing 111 professors is unlikely, but, you know, which was the number of professors in that organization that shared the cartoon. But, you know, at least whoever pressed, you know, who actually pressed, you know, post on Instagram on that cartoon, I mean, you would hope that at a minimum, the university would, you know, censor them in some way, or, you know, explain that there was going to be a consequence for them. But, you know, we haven't heard anything. So I hope that the university at a minimum will say that, you know, the students that shared that cartoon, and it was also, you know, multiple students as well, students who are chanting, you know, while wearing masks and not showing their faces for basically an ethnic cleansing in Palestine, which is ironic because that's what they accuse Israel of, while saying Palestine should be completely Arab. You know, hopefully the university will take action against sort of the worst the worst aggressors, but we're yet to really see that.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.